The stress of life, the unfairness of life. How about for us Christians? You try to do right. You know you're not perfect. You get up. You drag your carcass out of bed. Wash up, clean up, eat a little breakfast, and go to work. Sometimes that's the biggest thing you can do in a day. Then you got people that are butts. They don't care about anybody. I was thinking last night, you got these butts around the corner here that got a tear up and down the street. Money's no object. They're ripping people off in their business. Scat packs, ass sag, Tahoes, making noise with the boom boom and tearing up and down the street. And it's like, why is it that the scumbags in life don't get caught? Why is it the scumbags, everything just works in their favor? The bad drivers, the idiots, the rude bosses, the rude managers. I think of the place I just left that women can be, I'm sorry to use this word, but they can be bitches and still have a job. Hello, Adam, and welcome. Why is that? Why is it management will not touch the B word? Hello, Hesse. Why is it that they have a job? And then when I was working there, man, I was chipped at constantly. And I didn't do anything wrong. And then I noticed our country, it's open season on white males. But not just us. Not just us. There's black men that are conservative, Christian. They're feeling it. And little by little, we're seeing a dynamic shape up. If you're a Christian, you're a conservative, you are not going to fit in. Life is not going to be this epic voyage. It's going to be fits and starts, falling off the horse. There's a thing in your car and truck now called a blend-door motor. Stupid. They got all this electronica crap designed to fail that when you turn your little dial from AC to heat and it now not switching over to heat. So no matter what, it will always blow cold air and winter's coming. I'm like, of course. And if I go to the local automotive, the last time I went, just to, what the heck did I have them do? A check engine light came on, and then the blinker, the flasher for the turn signal. My turn signals would not come on. They'd work intermittently. And every other pickup I had, you had a square panel. You removed it, you found the fuse, replaced it, or you found the bulb. That's another retarded thing by Ford. One bulb could be burnt out, but you don't know which one it is. I'm going to tell you something. People who worship these cars and trucks and think, ooh, Ford, garbage. You got to play the bulb guessing game. And then when you find out all the bulbs are fine, then your flasher, guess where the flasher's located on the 99 F-150? Way up under the dash, you got to dismantle half the dash to get to it. Stupid. $600 to find a check engine light, recharge the AC and the flasher. I'm like, you know what? That is too much money. Shops are a joke. They used to be $80 an hour. Now they pumped it way up. And they have a book, low end, high end, but they average it out always to the high end. It may take them 5 minutes, but they're going to bill you out 2 hours. A complete racket, unregulated by nobody, or regulated by nobody. Rent in the US has jumped ridiculously. It is more than a third of your monthly income. No, Jackson, I never said that. I said that black men that are conservative, white men that are conservative, God fearing, they're looked down on in our society. Males are being targeted. No, sometimes women drive trucks better than men. At least they used to. Today, everybody's just a bad driver. But when I worked at the school bus in Duluth, our female drivers had less accidents than the guys because guys tend to be aggressive, but that's changed. Women are very aggressive now. Hello, Chance. Well, I used to believe in Ford. They were the longest lasting trucks on the road, but this new stuff is trash. I notice the culture out here. Everybody wants to hurry up and get in debt for a car so they can show off. Nothing but problems. Hey, Hesse. Thrift stores. I just did a short on thrift stores. Thrift stores. When I was in Lakewood, Colorado, they had a store called Unique. Unfortunately, Walmart bought out the property. Unique went away. Had a unique giraffe metal sign that stood. You could see it. I walked in and found a mighty Tonka steamroller in perfect condition, $10. I bought shirts. I bought toy trucks. I bought stuff for my boy there. You go to a thrift store here in Augusta, it's $5 for a used t-shirt. We had Salvation Army. We had Goodwill. We had DAV. Man, we had awesome thrift stores. And Saturdays, it was 50% off blue, pink, yellow, orange tags. And you could get a shirt in brand new condition for 50 cents. And sometimes you'd find a shirt with the tags on it. Yeah, Chance. There was a season for thrift stores. It's gone. I don't know about your town, but the thrift stores today, here in Augusta, they're ridiculous. You go to Habitat for Humanity, a lot of junk in there. Bye, Jakisha. We know who you are. We know who you are. And I don't understand why the world around us is ripping everybody off so bad. I'm noticing more and more ads on YouTube and Facebook Reels now. You got these little ads that slide in, you can click it off. It gets in the way of what you're viewing. More and more women around the world are got all this going on. There was a Filipino on there with a baby crying in the background. Does a little nipple slip. The only way you can comment is if you pay for a membership. And I wrote on her, well, I take that back. You could subscribe, but you had to pay a membership. I said, honey, you need to get a job like everybody else. And I did parentheses, 0 parentheses for tots. I said, you can't just sit on here and show these and expect us to pay you. Not going to happen. But like somebody said in the chat yesterday, you got all these simp males that will send money to women like that just to get a nipple slip. And it's sad. And many people, like I said last night, they're getting on YouTube because they don't want to go get a job. Don't go buy a desk and a microphone. Take a room in their house, make it look like they've been in the business for 30 years. Good morning, Gallo. Welcome. And it's crazy. And people are paying the channels. For what? Many YouTube artists are going sensational, drama, lying. They're not telling the truth. And that's what they do. Just to get views. Well, it was down to the sediment in the bag, not the clusters. Look, a Guatemala banana. See that? Guatemala. Yeah, that'd be a long trip on a ship with bananas from the Philippines, wouldn't it? They're good. Food Line, they're $5.99. They used to have the bigger bags. Now they don't. Walmart is $4.99 when they have them. You got companies buying up these houses, turning them into rentals. They're charging $1,200 to $1,500 a month for a pigsty. Does anybody have a conscience anymore? The landlords don't fix anything anymore. They buy up goo gobs of property, and now you got to deal with them online. You don't get to call them. You don't get to contact anybody. They just charge the rent, and they'll run the property into the ground. Charge rent, and not fix anything. Thank you, Gallo. It's life is not fair. I've noticed that over the years, and it took me a long time to realize this. Hey, Sam. Hey, Nero. 65 acres, you're doing really well, because I know property out there is more expensive than here. Wow. One of the things that disappointed me is years ago when I finally realized that the law, the police, they don't work for us. To serve and to protect, I don't believe that. The law is doing less and less. They're not doing anything about traffic anymore. The cops, catching people running red lights, that you just don't see it. And the law is not on your side. And you see a breakdown in society. I mean, even here in Augusta, They can make as much noise as they want on their property up until 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night. The curfew here is ridiculous. I don't know about you, but most people got a 9 to 5 job and they're not staying up till 10, 11 o'clock at night. And the hood rats know that. They hoop it up and make all the racket. The level of disrespect and common courtesy in today's society with the punks that listen to that grotesque, disgusting garbage they call music, thumping the neighborhood, and they talk about respect and they don't give it at all. Number one, you shouldn't be going through any residential neighborhood disturbing people in their homes. You're a special kind of low class trash or no class trash. And the scat packs and making as much noise as you can. Your car sounds terrible, admit it. You jacked up the exhaust system. You're overcompensating for a wiener that's that tall with a hard on. And you want everybody to hear you. And all you're doing is angering people. And I don't understand how you have people that think and don't think, hey, maybe I shouldn't do this. Hey, Witchy. Well, thank you, Gallo. I won't be out there anytime soon just because I'm working and back into a new job. But I thank you for that offer. I would definitely look at Prescott. It was a nice town. Now, I'm sure that that's changed a lot, too. So now all we have is sand in the bag. You get down to the bottom here, it's river sediment. And I am complaining about this because corporate America is screwing the pooch. Landlords are screwing the pooch. Your auto mechanic is screwing the pooch. And a guy that I work with in my new job, he does mechanical work for way less. And I'm about to say, I need you to replace the blender motor. Whatever happened, I had a 66 Ford. You had a lever that you slid and it would move the damper. Why can't we go back to that? Why does everything have to be electronic assist? This stuff doesn't hold up. The F-150 you cannot buy at Auto Napa or AutoZone. You cannot buy the headlights anymore. Now you have to go to the dealership or the pull apart. And because stuff's made so crappy, it's plastic, it yellows, it's brittle. I tell you what, Democrats talk about saving the environment. They want everybody to go green. That means your green goes bye-bye. Get on these corporations for making planned obsolescence. You know why people are buying military trucks? Because it's the greatest recycling ever. The trucks are built to last. The military trucks already outlasted your new pickup, will continue to outlast your new pickup, and people got to get caught up. Oh, I got to have that $80,000 Dodge Ram quad cab. Quad cab. There's nobody in it but you. And you got a tonneau truck cover over a bed with a dually and you don't even use it as a truck. It's amazing. We're seeing this big disparity between the haves and the have-nots. And those haves are the ones that are not cool. They drive like idiots. They don't let you in. They're entitled. And they got the good life and they're going to be a jerkosaurus. Why is that? You know, and the Bible says, why did the wicked prosper? They got the health, they got the wealth, they got it all going on. And David laments and he goes on and he Gets down towards the end. He said, my feet had almost slipped until I considered their end. Do we stop and do that with these clowns around us? Do we stop and do that? If they don't know Jesus Christ, they spent their whole life being a fool, living for themselves. And when they breathe their last, you're not going to hear no more Scat Pack. You're not going to hear no more. You know, the Bible says our life is but a vapor that appears and vanishes. Go out on a cold morning anywhere, USA, and go. That's your life. You think you're all that, ladies? You think you're all that, guys? You big shots that got your degree in your big homes? Go out there and breathe out cold air and see how long your vapor lasts. That's your life, dude. That's it. God gives us perspective to humble us. And I have to be humbled daily when I see the way the world lives. They don't have fear. Look at the biggest jerks in society. They have no fear, no guilt, no conviction. They do things with reckless abandon, and then they brag about it. Unbelievable. Wow. We'll see in Prescott, they don't rust. Yeah, I was wondering about that, Gallo. The closer you are to the border, farts in the wind. That's funny. No repercussions for their actions. Justin, well said. The law doesn't punish the bad people. Your employer doesn't punish the bad people. I saw this at Trashportation. The shittiest people are hired for the desk jobs with the attitude. I made a call out to Columbia County, which is the neighboring county, before I got this job, inquiring about school bus drivers and bus monitors. Wow, the lady was so pleasant. We are all full up, but please call back in November. And thank you for calling. You call Trashportation here, you got attitudes. One guy was accused of, that works in the office down there, was accused of inappropriate behavior with a teenage girl as a coach, but his daddy works downtown, pulled strings, and got him a job at Transportation. Isn't that awesome? I thought when you've got inappropriate activity with a teen that was automatic dismissal. Not sure what the nature of it was. It's amazing. I told you about a white female who embodies trailer trash. Smokes and smokes. Got a voice that sounds like a angry male because of the smoker. Yells and screams at everybody. Doesn't care about anybody. Just selfish. Wants to make sure she gets all the routes covered and blah, 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 like this all day. And you try to be nice to her and she's a biatch. And she still has a job. And they're worried about a 3-minute video of mine on my time because somebody was butthurt. Somebody was butthurt because I said the truth. That's what I meant. They can dish it out, but they can't take it. Whether it's a white supervisor who does not have any people skills, ran 2 black women out of employment. One of them was very kind to me every day. I said, go turn that in. Don't leave here without talking to management. I went to management. Was she ever disciplined? She ever get time off? Suspended? Wrote up? Nope. And I was talking to Mr. Erock about this. They don't touch white women. They don't touch a lot of the ethnic people anymore because they're afraid of lawsuits. They're terrified of lawsuits. And guess who runs the lawsuit department? Democrat attorneys. 99% of the attorneys in America are Democrat. Did you know that? I did not until my attorney for legal action I had to take years ago told me that. Hey, Snapshot. Hey, Craig. Hey, Devin. Stole your cigarettes. Jeez. Hi, Click. Click, you never know when I'm going to be here. There's something in the Bible that I need to read that we all need to remind ourselves of, especially when we talk about life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. It's in Peter somewhere. Knowing this, first of all, that in the last days mockers will come with their mocking, following their own lusts, and saying, "Where is the promise of his coming? For ever since the fathers fell asleep, all continues just as it was from the beginning of creation." Remember, pay attention to what he's saying. Millions and billions of years ago. For when they maintain this, it escapes their notice. Some translations say, but they deliberately forget that by the word of God the heavens existed long ago, and the earth was formed out of water and by water, through which the world at that time was destroyed, being flooded with water. But the present heavens and earth by his word are being reserved for fire, kept for the day of judgment and destruction of ungodly men. We got a group of people called scientists saying that God doesn't exist, that there wasn't a flood. That's willful negligence. That's not science, by the way. And God says they deliberately forget, but there's another judgment coming. The earth and everything in it's going to be burned up. Look, our secular society laughs at God. Let them. Just remember, every time they open their mouth, just think of, that's it. I don't care if it's Cardi B or anybody else. They all think they're all this. They live inside their swelled heads. They're going to die one day. Then what? Then what? She ain't going to be twerking in the kingdom. She ain't going to be twerking in the lake of fire. And we need to remind ourselves that men are like the stubble. You go back into time and ask yourself a question. We all know about the Titanic. We know about the who's who on board. Do you know one person's name that built the ship? You don't. 3,500 men, probably from Belfast, young guys, worked their butts off for crappy pay to run riveters and do hard work. Lived in row housing. They did not have a quality life. The Titanic gets all the notoriety and the who's who, the first class and the captain. And what about the people that worked on it? Nobody cares. I think of that with women. They live in this society and they forget that there's street department and there's the electrical grid and the sewers and the house, and they just wake up in their bedroom and go, look at me. Did you build this house? Did you buy this? No. They're so clueless about the big infrastructure out there, and that's society. They don't elevate the working men in this country at all, ever. It's the stars. It's the fluff and puff. It's the cotton candy creme la creme garbage floating up from a godless world. That's what makes the evening news. Just give me something that I can use. It's interesting when people lose. Give us dirty laundry. The bubble-headed bleach blonde comes on at 5. She can tell you about the plane crash with a gleam in her eye. It's interesting when people die. We love dirty laundry. Yes. YouTube Rye Bread, how are you? Life is weird today. The common belief. That's right. When I worked at transportation, there was a black guy in the shop bragged that he had effed half the women in the lot. Exact words to me. He scrolled his phone and showed me photo after photo from here on down. Not one of them was attractive. And he's married. I said, who are they? He says, they all work here. I said, they let you take a picture of their chest, huh? What kind of a woman would work at a job and let somebody take a picture of their chest to use as blackmail? I looked at him, I said, man, you got bad taste, bro. What do you mean? I said, none of these are pretty. None of them. I mean, sagged all the way here, queefy cheese, cottage cheese, stretch marks. Yeah. And you show me a picture of your wife from Jamaica. She's beautiful. They wouldn't fire him, wouldn't touch him. Stand around all day, not work a productive shift, stealing from Richmond County. Tax dollars. Tax dollars hard at work. And you know what? I looked him in the eye. I said, you're like the waste management truck. It comes and empties the dumpster, and you get in the dumpster after it's empty, and you're scraping all that grease and crap off the bottom, thinking you found something. He looked me in the eye and said, it's about getting P-U-S-S-Y, Mike. I looked at him. I said, you know what? There comes a point when you get so low, dude, that you just have no respect for yourself. What would you do if your wife found out? Oh, I killed anybody that told her. I said, oh, so now you have a moral compass now. But you don't about this. Well, Mike, I don't believe in God. I said, oh, so that makes it okay. Yeah, I was told last summer by his lame sidekick that I used to respect. You know, he wanted to kick your ass. I said, for what? Because I didn't worship the ground he walked on. That as a white guy didn't cower under this hood rat black that thought he was all that and disgusted Georgia. Are you serious? And they waited 2 months to fire him after he wrecked a bus because he was on his phone. He didn't even hit the brakes. He wasn't paying attention, and I had just repaired most of the seats. And I turned it back in. Couldn't wait for the young lady to get it. She'd be so happy. I come in the next day, it looked like it hit a cement barrier. The glass was falling out, the whole front end was crushed. Any other driver had done that. The director of transportation would have fired that person on the spot. Mina! Host. I'm Michael Mina. I'm not host. You're so cute. Mina, your videos crack me up. You know what, Justin? I'm going to say it right now because I don't work there. Transportation favors skin color. They ignore the deeds of women that are totally inappropriate. They discriminated against a white woman who tried to apply for a position that she was more than qualified for and put a black in who had no experience. She had just been moved to a position. She also had no experience. People were tired of her She'd get on that two-way radio and would not shut up. And I said, you know what? You go through those offices, it is depressing. Crazy stuff. Mina, Mina. Mina, how are you? It bothers me. The wicked prosper in your job. They prosper in the neighborhoods. They prosper everywhere in this country. The law doesn't do anything about them. The employers don't punish them. I could go on. There's a guy down there that has cussed out supervisors. He's black. He can get away with that. He's arrogant. He brags about doing men and women, and all these silly black women want to be with him. He hurts them. He angers them. They end up quitting. I can't believe the crap that goes on in the world. I talked about somebody in the chat goes to his job and they gave out $100 gift cards if you had perfect attendance for the month, clocked in on time. The usual suspects were showing up late. Their expensive Air Jordans, fancy clothes, clock in, go into the break room 45 minutes, make coffee, eat, go and dress in their uniforms. 45 minutes into their report time for shift, then they decide to go to work. He didn't get his $100 thing, and they were giving it out to them. He went to his boss. He said, why didn't I get my... And he was told. People are complaining that this is racial because they said only the white guys are getting the gift card or the $100. Well, isn't that funny? You guys talk about racism, but the white guys are showing up on time and clocking in, and you're not, and you're calling that racism. You see what's happened? Thank you, Indika. Mina's a good person, Brad. She's a very good friend of mine. She's got energy. And she lives in Nepal, in Kathmandu. This stuff angers me. I'm human. To have people threaten me when I've done nothing to them. Isn't that so thug culture? You want everybody to fear you. And what's sick is all the silly women at work. One was currently having an affair and she's married. She was all stuck up. She's built like a brick shit house and she's real short. Got tags all over her and every guy down there wants to jump her bones. And I'm like, what is the big deal with this girl? I'm not saying it. I wouldn't want to see her naked. Sorry. Different strokes for different folks. Okay, I get it. Right, Brett? I tell the truth, and truth gets you in trouble today. Yeah, there you go. Why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday morning. Come on, honey bunch, put your thing right in there. Yuck. It's sad. Those of us that are Christians, it wears down on us. You see the unrighteous, foul, nasty people getting away with it over and over, and it can cause us to be discouraged. Because when you become a Christian, you think, wow, God's going to get them. No, he doesn't. Not when you think, not when I think. Yeah, Chance. And you know what? The older I get, the idea of somebody else sticking his dipstick in a girl, I don't want her. I mean, I understand that none of us is perfect. But, at least if you can try out women and stop playing around and get it together, then I'd be interested in you. But you're out there being loosey goosey. I was thinking about that today. I need to fall on my face for the grace God has shown me, because I haven't been sexually pure in the past at all. I'm still not up here. I could have caught VD, and God, by his grace, didn't allow me to get it. Then you have one person who sins one time, and then bam! We don't take advantage of the grace and sin. Will we see that God has kept us from reaping the consequences that many other people have? That's when I need to say, God, maybe I failed to realize you have a special calling for me. We have this belief that when you sin, bam, should come the consequences. Be glad it didn't happen to you, friends. You might not be here. I might not be here. It says in the Bible, God's not slack concerning his promise. He's patient, not wanting anybody to perish. We live in a world, clowns to the left, jokers to the right. Here we are stuck in the middle with them. And guess what? It's all fun and games until the piper calls you. Until the train pulls in the station and says, Chance, board? Devin, board? Nelson, board? Your death ticket has arrived. Are you ready? If you're in Christ, you're ready. If you're not, you're on the Hellbound Express. We have to remember that. Only one life will soon be passed. Only what's done for Christ will last. These clowns that get away with stuff at work, these people that are rude to everybody, they're going to stand before God. That white woman ain't going to be able to yell and smoke in front of a holy God. God's going to look at her and say, who are you? Close your mouth. People don't get it. Whether it's the resident trolls in here or whatever, they don't get it. When they stand before God, they will be silenced. They will not be able to whimper. Life is deceiving. You can live in your own body long enough and think, hey, I got away with this, nothing happened. We have to remember, it seems like some people out there in society have a very, very long leash, while us Christians are on a choker collar, and God goes, Mike, man, God, why are you always on me? Because I love you. I don't always grasp that. I think he's against me. I see the wicked prosper. You can come in late, show up, not show up, and you still have a job. I remember in the 80s you did that, you were fired. I was telling my boss yesterday, man, I remember in the 80s, a boss could walk and say, Nelson, you're done. Now you have to document. Put it in writing, document, put it. The women love that crap. Oh, they love all that crap. Do you notice they put all those women in those crappy positions and they're really good at being fake and superficial? And they love that. They love that little stupid world. Well, you need to put it in writing. You need to document. You need to document. Do your job and fire these people. My dude hates my Christianity. What do you mean by that, Indica? Well, there was. You saw Ananias and Sapphira lie about when they sold their property. They kept some and said this was what they were trying to grandstand. And God slayed them, that took them out. That's called dispensationalism. And God doesn't, oh, you blew it, Mike, you're done. That's where we get a false belief. You know, the Bible talks about tearing down strongholds. We got to tear down the lies. Just because these godless fools get away with it, do not doubt the existence of God. God is long-suffering, and there's going to come a day when that clown that was working at transportation and screwed all those women, that one day he's going to be out there and then wham, it's going to be over. And even if it doesn't happen, the minute he breathes his last, Mr. Cool Hood Rat is going to be like, where am I? Well, you're not in heaven, bro. And we forget that. The temporal becomes so domineering in our lives. The temporal, this life is temporal right here on this plane called Earth. I'm trying to follow the conversation. I don't know what is being said here. Hey, Najee. I don't know what's being said. I'm confused, Indika, what you're talking about. You talking about your husband? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have any context. Rybread, I don't know what you're talking about. You've got two conversations I'm lost on. So, what I'm trying to say, we've got to discipline ourselves to not believe the lie that they're getting away with it. God is recording in the books everything that the clowns around us are doing. Right, don't be doing that. Come on. This is not the place for arguments. The world is not our friend. It does seem like the unrighteous get away with it, but you have to realize Satan does not attack what he already owns. He leaves them alone. It appears that they're getting along great, and they will. They'll get along with all their foolish lost friends. Life is a big happy joke to them. They look at people like us and go, you know, he's kind of weird. But they fail to realize when they die and breathe their last, they ain't going to be with their frenzies. They're not going to get promoted. They're going to get demoted real fast. Like the TV show, I hear God say, goodbye, you are the weakest link. That's right, Jay. But it's still, I'm human, it still bothers me. I feel like posting a sign on the telephone poles neighborhood to the clowns. with their scat pack and their noise. Some of us live here and work for a living. Could you stop disturbing the neighborhood with your racket, please? It's ridiculous. I mean, people like that, stealing, taking advantage, buying loud cars, tearing around. The cops never there to see it. Scumbuckets, losers. Crazy. But God promised us something. I will never leave you nor forsake you. How does Michael get a hold of that? How does Michael get a hold of that? Yes, Susie. And hello, Susie. Yes, Patty. And welcome. You know, even this channel, I'm not a megalomaniac, which is a person who's got way too much ego. My channel will never be big, pull in the money. And it does. It seems like the godless people prosper. Some flake can start a YouTube channel, make tons of money because she's wearing provocative clothing. That's it. No content. Or you got Joseph Watson and Mark Dice and all these others, and they just rolling out the videos every day and rolling in the money, and you got to pay for a membership. And we have to realize God has told us the world is upside down. People will pay money for entertainment. They will not pay for the truth. They'll pay to get in debt to get a car to show off to somebody. Talk about living in your head. You're going to buy something so you can impress the people who really don't care about you. And it's all in your head. Oh, I wonder what they're thinking now. Probably, I don't care. That might be a good place to start. You know, Nepal, Prime Minister tried to ban TikTok and things. They set the Prime Minister's house on fire in Nepal. Gen Z. Nepal. Himalaya country. Gen Z is no joke. The internet is the great equalizer, and what is going on here is happening around the globe. Gen Z thinks, oh, he ain't going to take my pacifier, my social media away. And they think it's okay to burn his house down. They had some unrest in September. Mina was telling me about it. Crazy, crazy stuff. Sometimes we can use social media for good, but what's sad is that we don't even know our neighbors. I do, thankfully. And we don't talk to real people anymore, face to face. We do it through this. People hide behind a screen. And I admit, the addiction of the internet is huge. Get up in the morning, what do? Look at your phone, look at the likes, look at this, look at the comments, look at the videos. Yeah, Susie, and you know what? The level of selfishness that they live, they're going to find out that the generation under them ain't going to serve them when they get old. That's why I tend to believe that Christ's return is very near. We talk about in the 80s that we were the fervor for the return of Jesus was huge, and mid to late 80s. But then it cooled in the 90s. And in 2000s, you don't even hear anybody talking about it. But look at what's going on. It's not just America. It's worldwide. Things are starting to just... That's right, Najee. Well said. Absolutely. Believers get a life of pain, loss, stress, sadness, etc., with a promise of heaven, and non-believers get a life of money, power, control, and escape accountability. Hey, Justice Jane, how are you? And the Bible, yesterday, the devotional was talking about the hand cannot say to the foot, I have no need of you. Talking about the church. I have not been in a church in the last 20 years that I felt like people would be sad if I wasn't there. Let that soak in. Must be getting older. This is getting heavy. My neck is shrinking. You know, and that's another thing we need to do. Stop being vain. Embrace the fact we're getting older. Our bodies are changing. Stop believing the lie. Stop believing you got to be forever young. When you leave this body and this flesh, you will not be tired. It will not age. You have your glorified body. Look for that. That's right, Susie. But we're human and we have our days. Some days we have the right perspective. Other days we lose our focus and go, you know, God, this guy's getting on my nerves. This guy's bothering me now. He's a godless fool and everything works for him. And I did pray. Things got bad with that guy in the shop. And I prayed the day before. I said, God, I'm tired of this guy. I've done nothing to him, and I pray that you'd move your hand against him. I rolled into the gate, flashed my badge, rolled in. I'd stop by the shop and drop my uniform off at the lockers and the bins so they could be washed. Dropped it off, drive down to the terminal. I see the bus sitting there. I'm like, man, I just did this. You know, what happened to this? The whole front end was crushed, step well buckled, windshield glass broken and hanging down. Found out that my favorite person was asked to sub a route. I said, oh, well, now they got no choice but to fire him. Oh, no, he continued working there for 2 months and still harassing me. Arrogant. The boss called him in the office and said, do you know how much one of these costs? No, because I've never bought a bus. He was a butt to the boss. I saw the boss come through the shop one day, and this clown's sitting there because he's black and he's pointing at him going, I thought, wow, this guy, he needs a can of whoop ass from God Almighty. 2 months before they fired his sorry butt. Yes, Patty, you're right about that. Hey, Jessica, how are you? Oh, that's awesome, right? That's a plus. Congrats to her. Well, somebody gave me a couple little things. somebody said he came up and told us his wife is angry at him. I said, well, duh, he's cheating on her all the time. And even though he keeps it hidden, women can sense when something ain't right. I said, I hope she cleans him out and hands his butt to him on a silver platter. And I had to ask myself, if you once prayed for him to get saved, he ain't going to get saved, God. That'd be awesome. But even me, I'm like, when the Apostle Paul, the Damascus Road, and they brought him the other day, this guy tried to kill us, get him away from us. No, he's saved now. They didn't believe it. I'm all right. You got rain over there. Jessica, where'd you say you were again? You told me and I forgot because they can't keep track of everybody's locale. Let's go see what it's doing out here. I think we got moonlight, feels right. The moon was beautiful. You will see darkness. It is not a technical difficulty. It's just a momentary. The moon has moved away. There it is. Look at that. Look at that. That is awesome. It's colder this morning than yesterday. That's good. Yesterday it was so muggy at work. I was sweating yesterday. Look at that. That's awesome. Georgia moon, illuminating the clouds. Southern Indiana. That's right. Come on down my way, Jessica. Let's meet. It'd be nice to have company, somebody to talk to about God and good things, because you know what? The older I get, I remember in the 80s, I'd gotten saved and I tried to hang out with the cruising crowd. Prescott, Arizona had Gurley Street, which ran right through the heart of town. And the cats in town would drive from Dairy Queen to the United Methodist Church, back and forth all night, revving their engines, making noise, blasting their vehicle stereos. People had Barracudas, GTOs, and somebody had a 79 Ford with gold wing doors on it. And freezing moon. Supposed to get rain today. You're in West Virginia. And I had become a Christian, a year before, and I'm hanging out after work with the cruise crowd. And it took me a while to notice something. Hey, Mary, how are you? And I noticed these guys wanted to talk about the same thing over and over again. Oh, I got a 4-barrel Holly, and I got a Rottenchester, and I got this, and I got a Torque Flight Tranny, I got, they stand there and flex their little car muscle, and I noticed something. God had higher aspirations for me. I wasn't part of the club. I remember a gal I met. She said, who is this guy? He's really nice and stuff, but he doesn't fit. She's right. You know why? Because when God saves you, he calls you out of the world. Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah, I graduated Prescott High School, girl. I liked Arizona back in the day. I heard it's being infiltrated with illegals, which sucks. Seems like every state's been polluted these days with something. Liberalism, illegals, bad mayors, governors. You have to believe that Jesus' return is not far off. Because if you run the projections based on our Caucasian birth rate, we will become a minority. Let that sink in, and I promise you it's not going to go well for us. They'll ethnically cleanse us. When they tip the scales and become a majority, you let all these Muslims in, not only is your quality of life going to be threatened, your life could be threatened. And we're not going to live in fear. We need to be bold. I believe our time is short. And a church doesn't escape suffering, but we escape the wrath of God. The church will not go through the tribulation. So I personally hold the belief, yes, America is getting worse, but I don't believe it's going to get to the point where we are being killed before the rapture. After the rapture, things are going to get ugly fast. But I think that the church and the Holy Spirit is what keeps a lot of stuff at bay, even though it doesn't look like it. Even though we see people getting away with stuff at work and on the streets, God's still, the restrainer, still doing his job. I believe that once the church is gone, America's done. It'll be that quick. Because it won't take people and government people and the Democrats to all still be here. Nancy Pelosi, they'll all still be here. And it'll take them short order to figure out the people that disappeared were those people that were all into God and stuff. And they ain't going to say it favorable to us. They're going to say, oh, good. These people were against everything right in their eyes. Then they'll be able to prosper. Then they'll open the door for a one world leader. Absolutely. I don't want to run with something. I'm just saying that's my conservative opinion. Mina. Hey, I need people to pray for Teresa. She always comes in here with the pink hands. The last video she made was the 28th, and I haven't seen her. That's not like her. She always comes in here. She's always making video shorts. She's always saying hello to all of us. And I get used to the community, and I notice when somebody's missing, especially when they put themselves out there. Nice. So pray for Teresa. I don't know if she's in UAE. She has to wear Muslim wear and all that. I don't know why anybody from the Philippines would want to serve in the Middle East. That, to me, no way. No way. Hey, Mr. E-Rock. Mina. Mina's so cute. Her and Teresa are very similar. They're very enthusiastic and energetic. I love that. I do hope God comes in my lifetime. Solve a lot of problems. Don't have to worry about retirement. Don't have to worry about anything. And yet, here's the kick. Here's the kicker. We're not supposed to worry no matter what. What does the Bible say? Be anxious for nothing. That's telling us that today, where you and I are at. This isn't some by and by pie in the sky verse. This is be anxious for nothing right now, this moment. Get up and do what you're told. Go to your job. Trust me. That's it. It is DC3 and welcome. Mary and Jessica, you ladies still in the house? I left Arizona in 1989. Yeah, well, we all got to work on it. It's hard. The world looks like they're just having a little party. What's ENA? Ina. Oh, got you, Jessica. You guys are cracking me up. Little emoji things. How come I can't find those? Problem is, when you go into the emojis, you got to scroll through so much stuff. I'm not quick on that stuff. Hell, Rye Bread's doing it. That's funny. That's funny. Oh, did you, Mary? Well, thank you. I hope you're comfortable here. I do talk about a lot of controversial issues from a Christian perspective and my own humanity. Mary's throwing them out there too. I wish I could add some. I'd put a bunch of koala bears in the room hugging. I don't know how old everybody is, but when I was in the kid in the early 80s, they came out with the koala bear. You squeezed the shoulders and the arms open up and you clipped it on. I had to have one of those stupid things so bad as a kid. I had to have the little squeezy koala. Mary, awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Your name is Nero, but I looked you Euro. I like seeing you guys get along. We also need to pray for Lara Shia. I have not seen her in days. That's not like her. That's not like her. You know what? Little pencil pals. Yes. I remember those things. You stuck them on the end of your eraser. Some of them were erasers. I got to show you something. You guys will get a kick out of this. This is funny. Driving and working on school buses over the years, I couldn't believe how much waste went on. Let's see if we can do this here. Those are pencils I'd find on the floor of the bus. A crate, a partial crate full. These are just the pens. All the pens. I'm like, I will never have to buy pens, notebook paper, scratch paper, rulers, and I buy the pencils to mark my wood when I do my construction projects. You know, when I got vertigo in 2022, I used to burn incense. I have tons of incense. Man, if you ladies want any of this, I could send it to you for a small donation. I'd have to ship it, and I can't use it. I love it, but I kept thinking, what's causing the vertigo? So I thought it was the incense, and I read that caused vertigo. Well, I stopped burning the incense, and I still had vertigo. And then I found out, literally last year, long hauler syndrome. Man, my truck. These were my plates on my old Ford in Washington. This I found somewhere. Colorado. I worked at the truck center. Hey, look at this, Jessica. Check this out. Look at that, Jessica. This is a Penske truck, one of them box trucks. Indiana, we got a bunch of box trucks at the dealership. That's awesome, Mary, and I'm glad. That's what I try to do. Yep, Indiana. What else we got? Even had, this was, I don't know where this was from, but here's another Indiana plate. This was a truck commercial plate, Colorado, and I got all kinds of stuff going on. Indiana, man. I like license plates. One of my favorite ones is this. Mina, get me a license plate from Nepal, will you? I'll pay you for it. I got this from the Dominican Republic. I bought it from a lady here at the flea market who actually lived there, and this was on her car. That is a souvenir. That's awesome. I want one from the Philippines too, but it's very hard to get a hold of that stuff. Yes, sir. All right, this needs to go here. These battered license plates. But I used to have more. Now they want a fortune for them. I see them at the flea market with $15 a piece. These things I used to take off trucks we get in stock. I'd have to remove the plates per the boss. So go get all those plates off of there, and I kept some of them. They never had the good ones on the trucks, though. They had a lot of rust from the good old cancer salt belt states. But, yeah, it's fun. Mina! Oh, thank you. My voice has been a little scratchy lately due to morning allergies and talking too much, but thank you for that. Mary's looking at your picture. You got beautiful red hair. Like me. And what do we got? I found this one, I think, at the flea market. Good old Keystone State, Pennsylvania. And this was my deuce and a half that I just sold. This was off my 66 Ford that I sold in Colorado. I actually got collector's plates on it. Oh yeah, I don't turn in my plates. I said, no, I paid for them. I'm not, no, you do not get my license plates. I paid how much every year for tabs? Mine. Screw that. Screw that. Not doing it. And they can't make you turn them in. Cannot. In Minnesota, they make you surrender the plates. I'm like, no. I paid for them. That's my property. They cannot legally make you surrender your plates. When you sell a vehicle, I pull the plate, somebody has to registrate it anyway. Vertigo is when your head is spinning. I never had it. I've driven mountains. I've driven all my life. And it got so bad that I was laid up for 4 days in this room. And I would lay there and my brain felt like it was going like this. And I had the wastebasket by my bed and I'd lean over. Nothing would come out. I'd dry heave, throwing up. When I walked to the bathroom, I had to grab the walls like I was on a ship in a storm. I'm like, what the hell is going on with me? So I cut the incense. I thought, is it food? Is it this? Is it that? I walked into the bathroom at the terminal and they had the sprays, the COVID sprays that you can refill your bottles for the buses after routes. And they had this perfumated cleaner. And I walked in, the minute I smelled it, I felt this woozy. I said, oh my gosh. And I ran out of there. I thought, is it the spray? But when I was home for 4 days, I said, this is not the result of anything. And a lady at work last year said, there's a Facebook page called Long Haulers, and it's people talking about symptoms after getting COVID. Many of them talked about vertigo. A lady I was friends with in Denver called me and said, I got vertigo a year after. She goes, it gets so bad I have to lay down and my head won't stop. I said, yes. It's always a tad of woozy. Not like it was before. I can drive. I can go to work. I can work on a project. I notice when I get that little bit of wooziness, I focus on something. I just zero in. Like I'll stare at the knot hole in the board and just fixate on it. And that helps. You got to look at something and just stare at it. But I don't get it like before. I also was under a ton of stress. They had me doing 9 routes a day, all of them bad children. And I wasn't getting anywhere with the discipline problems, and they were riding me like a horse. And many of the drivers out there said they're killing Mike. Mike's a healthy guy. This stuff's happening because they're killing him. They're making him do too much. I don't know. It does stop on its own. It does. It truly does. And I went to my boss. I said, I don't want to drive the bus because I don't need this. I don't want to lose my job. So let me be a bus monitor. Let me see if I can ride. And the first day I drive, my head started to do it. I put the window down, had my head by the window. And that fresh air helped a lot. And there were little tricks I did, but I was able to get through it. And it started to diminish. It's crazy. I can go with energy at my job, on the property here, and I'm fine. But yeah, I haven't had the attack since 2022 like that. Yeah, they had me do these things where you lay down, you have your head hang off the end of the bed, and they said there's these stones inside of your ear canal. That did or didn't work. Where are you, Jessica? In good old, yep, Maine is east of me. Georgia's further in. Maine is northeast. Where's Indiana? Yeah, that's what they told me. Jessica, you still there? What is this? Oh, Bloomington. But yes, back to my theme. I do, but I don't miss driving the bus. This place cured me of that. Down on the river now, how am I supposed to know what the river is? Jessica, how many rivers are there in Indiana? I'm seeing a bunch. What river is this? Why is it not? Oh, the Ohio River. I didn't know the Ohio River formed the border of Indiana. I learn something new every day. You near Louisville or Evansville? Hey, Blue Dust. Hey, Paul. Good morning, America, how are you? Don't you know me? I'm your native son. I am riding on the city of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. Old Arlo Guthrie song. I think Waylon Jennings did a remake of it about the dying out of the railroads. Good song. Mina, Mina, you guys started the emoji war closer to Louisville. I noticed they don't say Louisville. They got a road here called Louisville. And I say Louisville, and they look at me. I said, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Louisville, Kentucky. Where have I been? Everything west of the Mississippi except for South Dakota. And I have covered Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, both the Carolinas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania. I have not covered any of New England from New York on up. I have not been to Virginia, Maryland, Delaware. I've been to West Virginia, spent a couple months there. Been to Michigan. I've seen the Maumee River. Man, Mob was telling me that Maumee River is really low. They've had such a drought. Tennessee, all right, Justice Jane. Tennessee's beautiful. Thank you, Mary. Mary, where'd you get that red hair? Is it real? I was in Morgantown in 1986, literally outside of it. It doesn't show it anymore, but it was called Horde, West Virginia. Down on the Monongahela River, you could see the cooling towers, some sort of a coal-fired electric plant. And I used to watch the barges go. I was staying that summer in a house that was built in the 1800s with a 1700 settler's cabin in the front yard. The house was the old post office for the railroad there. The freight trains still run through there, but they don't stop for mail. That was a cool old house, man. You go down off the highway and go 2 miles down a windy dirt road. And the lady, Evelyn Horde, she would take her trash, drive it up in her Subaru, stop on the side of the road, and there was it was an old vent from a coal mine. It was big, and all the people in that lived on that little road would throw their trash in there. I said, oh my gosh, a bottomless pit. You wouldn't hear it hit the bottom. I'm like, there's a coal mine with a whole lot of garbage in it. You know, I looked at Beckley Lawrence and I saw the crime stats were awful. Richmond, Virginia. Did you ever hear the country song by the guy from West Virginia, Richmond, north of Richmond? That was a great song. Well, I haven't been everywhere in the world. I lived in Hong Kong, spent a night in Japan, been to the Philippines twice, been to Macau several times. Really? Well, thank you, Mary. Who's Oliver Anthony? That's right. Thank you. I brain fart. But yeah, when we look at the world, we look at people and you go to work, life is not fair. But guess what? Guess what? All the people are doing around us is racking up points. Points to be used against them when they stand before a holy God. That's it. I like what he says. Working BS hours for BS pay. He used to drive bus. He called me out of the blue the other day. I said, "How are you doing?" He said he got on at Bridgestone. He said he got to work swing shift for 2 weeks, then work days. And that's what these companies do. They have you go third shift, first shift. I said, why do they do that? Why don't they put the guys that want to work nights, the guys that want to work days? I can't do that. I'm 59. I'm not jacking up my biological clock. That's being a slave. He gets 7 days off when they do the switch over, but he works, what did he say he works? 412s? I forgot how it works. But these factories are no place for somebody my age. They're grueling. It's too much. Eternity is fair. That's right. She was in here. She comes and goes. She makes her shorts. She's having fun making her shorts. They got these things that make her look like that scary face. And then they got the ones now that she uses where she'll be walking and she suddenly gets on a motorcycle and roars through a city. It's like, how does that AI stuff is a trip. Blue Dust, how are you doing? Are you behaving, or dare I ask? It does, Mystery Rock. I like my job. The whole place shuts down at 5. There's no shifts. There's a couple people that work overtime by management approval, but wow, Jessica, what do you do? I was working as a waitress at a cocktail bar. Seven days a week. Jessica, you got to get rest. That's too much. That's too much. We're not made for that. Mr. E-Rock, and as we get older, we want to lighten up on the throttle because our body starts to change, you know? Really. Come out here, Jessica. We got Starbucks, Bridgestone. Georgia Pacific was here, but it's in Warrenton now, which is an hour away. We have Textron, we have Club Car, both golf cart manufacturers. Yeah, what's going on out there? You're talking Napa Valley, Blue Dust? Oh, you got kids? You got little ones? How old are they? Oh, Mystery Rock, people are still getting on my shorts. My hair's cut. And they're still writing it puts the lotion on the skin. And I'm like, I responded to somebody the other day and I said, what did I say? It was a smart aleck response. I said, I can't even remember, but it was something to the effect. It puts the fact that your brain isn't working by making a comment like this. Somebody said, I'm not trying to be mean, but you look like Silence of the Lambs. And I went on her channel and she had pink in her hair, looked like a bombed out mess. And I said, this coming from somebody with pink hair, I'm not being mean, by the way. You know, I'm sorry. You learn the art of being a smartass in America really well. It's sad. They are stupid. It's just so stupid. They say the same dumb thing. I didn't even see the movies. I have no interest in them. I could care less. Wow, Jessica, you're doing the right thing. I don't fault you for that. You're taking care of your family. God will bless and honor that. El Sheba, how are you? They do. And I'm sorry, some of the nastiest comments I get are by women, and you can tell, oh my, they think they're a little Queen Latifah. And I'll usually go back on one of their videos and said, before you come onto other people's channels making rude comments like mine, you might want to look at yourself in a full-length mirror, honey. You're nothing to write home about. And they don't respond. We need to do that. We need to do that. I don't mean being nasty, but we need to put them in their place and say, you know what? I wouldn't do you. Get over yourself. Get over your damn self. You think you're all that on a stick and you come over here and leave nasty comments? Come on. That's good, El Sheba. Mara, I didn't even know you were in here. You didn't even tell me you were in here unless I didn't see it. I hope you're doing okay, Mara. You have a good day. Oh, I'll give him attention. I'll tell him the truth. They ain't going to come back. I'm generally nice to women until they show that side. Then it's like, all right, you want to declare war? The USS Pacific's going to slide out of the harbor and I'm going to turn the turret and go, one across the bow. You want one in the side next time? I can be nasty. I've been told that. If I have to go for the jugular, I will. It's not exactly a Christian trait, but there are times when I have to use it. Banana boy or banana baby, I didn't even know you were in here. She says hello, gotta run. What's this? A drive-by. Banana baby's doing a drive-by. She's doing, hi, welcome to McMichael's. How may I help you? Oh, I'm good. I just wanted to hear a word. I'm out. Absolutely, Jessica. I remember I got on Spokane Craigslist. I looked at the personals and I said, wow, these women are so conceited in Spokane and they weren't pretty. So I wrote a post. I said, what's with all these chicks on Craigslist thinking they're all that on a stick and a bag of chips? Somebody else said that and I stole it. And I said, man, this is Spokane, man. The greatest sport here is to see who can beat somebody the next red light in your, beat up car with no exhaust. I said, what a great town. I wrote a sarcastic post, and it was so funny that a woman wrote me. We ended up going to Red Lobster and dating. She loved the post. She goes, I don't know who you are, but this is so true. I want to meet you. That is so well written. She was a cute blonde. Oh my gosh. We had a ball. She was from Coeur d'Alene. That was funny. I wasn't even trying at that point. I said, man, all these women out here are losers. And I ended up hooking a good one just by being satire. It was awesome. Oh my gosh. That was a trip. I wrote a woman that was big. She was not pretty. She was more guy than woman and very obese. And I saw her post. It was high maintenance. She wrote, I don't want to date an overweight guy. I find them disgusting and a turnoff. I thought, oh, really? I had no interest. I wrote her, said, I read your profile. I'm not interested in you. But I said, you're commenting about obese men. I said, I'm looking at your pictures and you might want to check out a diet plan like Atkins or, keto or something. Oh, boy, I got a response in my email. All caps. She locked the capitals. I thought, oh, here we go. Shut the F up. I didn't give you permission to write me. Blah, blah, blah. I said, it's a dating site, chickie. What did you expect? You're putting down obese men, and I'm not even obese. You're not my type. She goes, oh, you're probably a loser, and you're overweight, and you're offended. I said, honey, I date Asians, not you. I said, and they're way slenderer than you. Don't write me again, or I'm going to turn you in. And I wrote her one more in capitals. I said, don't respond to me, and I won't respond to you. Boom. Then I blocked her butt. Oh, you did that, lady. You gonna get on there and you got arms that big around and you're poochie, honey, ha, poo poo, la la, and you're gonna be judging everybody? Yeah, I'm gonna say something. You betcha. Yeah, but I don't look like Silence of the Lambs. They were saying that when I had the hair long. Hey, Okie. All that in a bag of chips. Sheesh. Some people think I'm picky. Man, even if a woman's semi-plain Jane and she's nice and takes care of herself, shoot, I'll give her a chance. It's just so many people have such crusty, stupid attitudes today. I don't care how horny I am. That doesn't work for me. You got an ugly attitude. I'm not even going to masturbate at the thought of you because why? I'm not joking. I won't even lust after you. You're terrible. I wouldn't give my semen the satisfaction of wasting it on you. Gotta say it like it is, folks. Good morning, Okie. Hey, look, y'all come here. You never know what you're going to get in this one. It's all original. Oh my gosh. Sorry, ladies. Sometimes you just gotta say it like it is. No, I'm not like most guys. If you're a biatch, I have no interest in you. None. What is wrong with being nice? What is so hard about being nice? What is the problem? How hard is it? It takes more energy to be a jerk. It does. It takes more energy to be a jackass than it does to be nice. Holding a door open for somebody. I mean, you had to think about that. Somebody's right behind you and you just open the door just enough to squeeze your body in. Or you hold it for somebody and they walk by and don't even say anything. And sometimes if I'm feeling somewhat rammy, I'll go, "You're welcome." They'll turn around and look at me and I'll look at them. What you gonna say? Come on. I don't say what you're gonna say, but I just look at them like, sometimes you need to shame people. Sometimes you have to pick your battles and shut your mouth. It's all about what's the mood today, folks. You ever get up and go out about your day and you just feel like they let all the mental patients out on the highways and byways of life that day, and you're like, okay, something's up. There must be a dark spot on the moon today. Yes. El Shiva, where are you from? State your address, your social security number, your credit card, your driver's license, and I will bequeath to you my assets summing up $100 million because my son is undeserving of it. Send this all to Nigeria and you can have access to my entire estate. Oh yeah, Richmond, Virginia. Wait a minute. What do you do for a living? Not enough kind people. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? I don't give dumb people my time. Sometimes I will if it's to my advantage. No, Blue Dust, I was asking you, say there's flooding in Napa Valley. Got it. How old are you? Eating candy. Eating ginger chews online. Pick up all my chains and whips and things and put them away. Like my new welcome sign? Tammy! 54. Okay, Tammy, I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome, Tammy. How's treating you life? Ah, yes, the 50s, the fabulous 50s. $45. Sometimes I feel like I'm 70. Other times I look in the mirror and I feel like I'm in my 20s. Other times I feel like I'm out of my mind. Mary, are you still in the house? I love it when all the women come in because then I can flirt. I need my flirt, my vitamin F. Hi, Franny, and Franny showed up. Yes, Mary, I'm a flirt because I'm single and I know it and I'm proud. Clap your hands. All in good fun. I haven't dated in 7 years. I love to say that. I have not dated in 7 years. I've been going through the desert on a horse with no name. Oh, man. Tammy, where are you? I haven't seen you in a while. Pam, wow, Pam, she walked in. How are you? You're too shy to flirt. Don't be too shy to flirt. Just flirt. How are you, Tammy? I haven't seen you in a minute. There was a gal at work. I always told her, oh, I need my vitamin H. She goes, vitamin H? I said, hug. She laughed so hard. She gave the best hugs. And I didn't have the hots for her. She just gave the best hugs. She gave the kind of hugs you just wanted to hold on for an hour. 3 more plants to go. 41? Wow. So if a woman's older, she's a cougar. What does that make an older man? Tiger? Yeah, Tammy. I'm like, forgot that you existed. Flirting is fun. I cannot lie. 15 years. Wow. Put Michael in a room with all these ladies that haven't dated, and wow, that could be a fun time. Let's see how much passion can be displayed in sudden outbursts. Yes, even as a man, sometimes the thought of being a little bit wild would be fun. In a safe, controlled environment, of course. Oh gosh, Jeff. I've noticed the change. I mean, I noticed, oh man. Yes. You wisen up as you get older. At least some do. Some people just press the stupid button again and again just to see if it works, but not me. Wow. Hitching a ride, hitching a ride. I still have a little bit of Hollywood in me. I think it'd be fun to be like digging in the backyard and you hit something and you dig down and it's a big iron box and you muscle it out of there and there's emeralds and rubies and gold coins and you find out that the worth is, they tell you that if you find antique treasure and stuff on your property, you have to turn it in. Excuse me? No. My property? No way I wouldn't. If I found a buried treasure chest in my yard and I knew it wasn't just recent, that's mine. I'd have to figure out how in the heck I'd unload that and make money off of it. But wow, that'd be the hard part. Then your neighbor happened to look over the fence. Mike, what is that? I don't know, some big iron rusty box I found. Then everybody's going to be curious. All right, Pam, have a good day. I'll be going to work soon. I'll think of you. Jeff. Wow, Franny. Sometimes, and I'm just going to be honest, it's not biblical. Sometimes I wish I had a younger Fraulein just to cozy up with me and make love and be passionate with and have that. And then they still go back home every day. I don't want to play around with everybody. I mean, the thought of an orgy sometimes would be nice, but that's not right. Oh my, Jessica, that's 9 years. Yes. Oh, Tammy, yes, full time. I started a week ago, and the boss likes me, likes my work ethic, much better environment. He gives compliments regularly. It's much better. Thank you. Yeah, I forgot you weren't here when it happened, but you could probably tell I'm a little more upbeat. We men were made to work. I was telling Nero that last night. He said, I don't want to work anymore. I lost my job and I'm just going to be a bum. And I said, don't. You're just going to spiral down. Nope. Got totally out of it. Thank you, Blue Dust. Yeah, it's everybody was in here last night saying AI is going to take all our jobs, not mine. The kind of work I do, AI will never have anything to do with it. My work is physical. They will always need drivers. They always need people to move stuff. And, that's just the way it is. Warehouse, yep. And no, it's not Amazon. That's all I'm going to say. Forklifts, scissors lifts to go 30 feet in the air, moving a lot of heavy stuff, take stuff to paint booth. Yeah, it's an interesting job. It's honest work is what it is. Two guys didn't come in yesterday, and the boss came to me and he said, I'm getting so tired of this. He said, you have been doing awesome. He says, you keep doing what you're doing, you're gonna move up and we're gonna bump your pay up. I said, that'd be awesome. Thank you, Mary. Yeah, I worked 6 years at Trashportation. I'm not sorry for saying that. No compliments. I turned the bus seat thing. The guy that was there before me was not getting it done for 8 years. And some of those buses were broken down for years. You'd walk through them, the seat cover split, the metal bar, the foam had separated. I'm like, man, these things. And I, in less than a year, got it turned around. I'd pull a bus in, I'd tell the shop, I'd pull this bus, it's going to be down for 2-3 days. It's bad. Rip everything down to the metal, run into other problems you don't foresee. Like you go and the whole frame is like this. I'm like, well, that ain't right. It's not even attached to the floor anymore. Who's pre-tripping their bus? Huh? You're supposed to be checking that before you put kids on there. Stupid. I tell you what, I went back and I said, y'all need to start writing up these drivers that don't pre-trip. They're driving out there with the handrail hanging off. Girl pulled up the pumps one day. Mike, can you fix this? I said, when did that happen? She goes, the other day. I said, you should not be driving that bus this morning. I said, I don't have time because I have to pull that whole thing apart. Because I said, if it's drilled out in the metal, I have to make a new spot for the handle. But I don't want to spare. I said, don't drive that bus. A kid grabs that, the top's disconnected, and he trips. He's going to fall. The handle's going to bend and break, and he's going to fall on his butt or on his back outside the bus. Disobeyed, drove the bus. I went back there and sought after routes. I grabbed it and I pulled it. I told the shop. The shop said, Mike, you can't pull that bus. I said, the handrail's disconnected. Oh, okay. Stupid. No, Michael made sure that the equipment was safe. Even though the kids are monsters down here, I don't want them getting hurt because of me. Yeah, thank you for reminding me, Jody. That right there is a bunch of crap. 1,000 people got up there in a storm. And you know, Nepal, Tibet, depending on which side you come up from, that's a moneymaker. You got to pay. You got to pay big money to climb Everest. They're leaving garbage everywhere, camping stuff, oxygen tanks, all for ego. You're willing to risk your life just to bag a summit and brag. I'm sorry. Why would I climb a mountain with 1,000 other fools? I remember when I climbed Bierstadt in Colorado. There was tons of people on the trail. And I move like Jagger. And there'd be so many people on the trail I couldn't pass. And I wouldn't be rude and I'd stay back. And usually people were pretty good. Somebody'd say, oh, hey, somebody's coming. I said, hey, thanks. Man, he moves fast. I had my chain on, my cut-off sweatshirt, my khaki Duluth pack on. They all got Land's End, LL Bean, North Face wear, fanny packs. I'm like, whatever. And I jetted up the mountain like a billy goat. My Asian girlfriend, I took her, we climbed Mount Evans one day. She goes, you are literally a mountain goat. I said, I love it up here, man. I don't have breathing issues up at 14,000 feet. Yeah, it is all about the money. They got to pay for a visa and a permit and all that. Everest is 29,000 feet and 23,000 is the base camp. I can't remember where the cutoff is, but there's an area called the death zone. I'm healthy. I wouldn't try it. I wouldn't try it. Give me a pair of ice crampons, I could go right up that thing. But I don't know what my breathing would be like now. You have to go to Tibet. You have to go to Lhasa and stay there a week or two, 17,000 feet and acclimate. Then you're going up another 12,000 feet from there. People die going up there, Mary. And these sick, egotistical people will walk past dying people. Heartless, uncaring. They're going to endanger their life just to bag a summit. I remember a guy from New Zealand. Don't ask me this, but he had cell phone connection up there. Probably because it was so high. Called his wife and said, well, not going to make it. Wife pregnant with a baby. Such an ego, wanted to bag a summit, now kids without a dad. I did a written commentary on that years ago. I said the things people will do for an ego. Now girl doesn't have her father. What part of stupid and selfish do you not understand? Everybody's done Everest. Who cares? I'm not going to look at anybody who says, I just climbed Everest, so I'm going to go, and? I went to Hong Kong and I've been in the Philippines. Who cares? You know, it was a big deal once. Once Sir Edmund Hillary did it, okay, done, conquered. Somebody needs to come up with something new. I thought of an idea, make an adult-sized big wheel. I'll go from New York City and pedal all the way to California. I wonder how many plastic tires I'd burn up. Oh, a satellite phone. Philippines is awesome. A lot less dangerous and much cheaper. Why do I want to go on a mountain with a bunch of clowns? Why? Why do I want to go on the mountain with a bunch of clowns? That's the Democrat National Convention heading to a town near you, folks. Look at that, huh? That was actually a Facebook reel. That car was going down the freeway. Everybody's got a clown, and they're all in there moving. It's so funny. You got to be born again, Jason. And most everybody in here is. That was after I mowed my yard. I know. How'd they get them all in there? Did you see it, Dustin? It was so funny. That was a hoot. Where's all my porn pictures of Blue Dust? I must have deleted them on accident. I saw that this morning. I saw something. Have a good day, Jason. Mr. E-Rock. Boy, if you can come out of there without having yourself shredded by tongue lashings. Wow, Mary, now that would be interesting. If you like pina coladas and you're not into champagne, you did it. Wow. That means you're in good shape. 20 to 30 days, I had a hike from Oregon to Canada via the Cascade Mountains. Did you go up Rainier? Wow, Mary. Wow. Mary, that's sexy. I like a woman like that. That means you're in shape. I'm too fat to hike. The deal for real. How are you? Rainier's interesting. It's got a lot of glaciers on it. Lots. Well, folks, it's been good to chat with you all. I hope you guys have a good day and keep your eye to the sky. A terrorist? You saw that, huh, Blue Dust? Did you hear what I said a minute ago? I said, where's all the porn pictures of Blue Dust? I must have accidentally deleted them. You missed that. I was messing with you. Hey, thank you, Mr. E-Rock. Lawrence, yeah, I lived in Spokane for a time. All right, folks, you guys have a good one. Till next time, Good, Mary. And Dustin, everybody, thanks for coming in. Be safe out there.